So I'm going to do a little food haul, and all of this was $52, which sort of sounds like a lot. For that, we didn't get that much, but that's because of inflation, of course. So the only thing we splurged on was the chips, because it actually tastes like restaurant chips, and that was $3.47 because they fry them there. Cabbage was 99 cents a pound. Got one cream cheese for about $1.40. Clearance bananas, 49 cents. Regular bananas, 89 cents. And by the way, this is the only grocery store besides Walmart that we have. So, salad, $4. Bread on clearance for $1.99. The meat, we didn't get much. We haven't had much meat in a while. We've been living off our pantry for a month now. Like $3 a pound. We did get one of the lean grass-fed they had there for $5 a pound. And we got a lot of dairy because it's on clearance. We always buy like the clearance breads and dairy because that's the cheapest thing they have. We got this for $1. Got two of those. You can make like 2 ingredient dough with these, besides just eating them as yogurt. You can bake with the stuff. And we got this clearance dip and vanilla yogurt for the kids to eat. Cottage cheese I'll probably eat. The kids did get 2 little individual Yoplait that are on clearance. We got cheese for $2 on clearance. And then out of the milk, this is like $4 for a regular price. I cannot get my kids to drink skim milk. They're spoiled. But I will bake with this, or my son might put it in his protein shakes. So this is all we have to work with until we drive 2 hours away, or 3.5-hour round trip to a real good grocery store. So we're going to eat what we have in our pantry besides just this. Okay, so here's the plan for Monday night dinner. I have old celery I chopped up. We've had this for weeks. Like I said, we haven't been chopping in a month. And we bought about 3 bags of these on sale for about $1 over a year ago. It expires this spring. I might even put like a 1/4 cup of these in here, pecans in there. Have an onion chopped. I might actually kind of get these translucent first, and then I may or may not use this and this with all of this and some of our farm eggs. And I have 3 chicken thighs in the oven. It was those uber cheap, like 59 cents a pound chicken that you can't hardly find anymore in those big bags. And I hate buying them because they're always like big, giant, broken pieces and, freezer burnt, whatever. But anyway, I have 3 of those in the in the oven. And then I'm going to shred them and make kind of like a stuffing casserole, I think. Okay, so I ended up making the casserole. And of course, let's see. I don't think I used any food I actually bought on the mini food haul today. I ended up using 3 of our farm eggs, and then it looks good, but it looks a little dry. I made homemade gravy. I know, let me think, the stuffing is like that mixed stuff or whatever, even though I cook it more like how people call it dressing here in the South. And I put all the chicken in there. I peeled the chicken, and I used the drippings from the chicken to kind of pre-cook the veggies a little bit, since I knew those wouldn't be in the oven forever. And the gravy, I ended up using a second can of the French onion soup because we just have a lot of old canned food that we can use up. And I took some beef fat. When you buy the really cheap beef around here, it's got like legit, like if you buy a big pack, it's got like 2 cups of fat in it if you were to drain it. And you can just save that fat to cook with because it's just too much to eat at once. Like it's like indigestion city when you have all that greasy meat. So separate the fat and save it for when we need it. And we're out of butter and stuff. So I just used, about 2.5 tablespoons or so of the beef fat and some flour. And since I was born in Southern Louisiana, so we kind of just treat gravy like roux or whatever. And I just kind of did equal parts flour and fat. And then after I got it kind of lighter brown, I started adding that in. I cook it real slow, and added some garlic, pepper, salt, that sort of thing. Which reminds me, that king cake my daughter made for my birthday, My birthday's not for a couple more weeks at the end of January. But she's so nice that she made it so good. It's real king cake. It's done the right way with yeast and everything. And that was just from stuff we've had on hand too. We're glad we still had some gold sprinkles. I think we have enough. We might even make another king cake before January is over. And I think we're probably going to stick with just doing, what do you call it? Like maybe $50 at the grocery store max for just little odds and ends, maybe a week right now, which is not much in a food desert area. But I've got just spent almost $4,000 fixing my truck, and I had to put it all on a credit card, so we are tight right now. And I have tons of like dried foods and some stuff, garden veggies in the freezer, so we're just going to work with what we've got. I have some canned foods. It's been harder to can since I have this new stove. These new stoves do not let you can. And I have an electric canner, but sometimes it likes to get too happy in how fast it gets hot and will burst the jars. So, but I do still have a lot of veggies and stuff I can from last year, or just more like condiments, because I eat my veggies fast. We got a lot of pumpkins, some Seminole pumpkins we grew that are still good. So I'll be working with all that. Anyway, I guess that's it for tonight, huh? It looks good though. Pecans look good on there. So tonight for dinner, we buy those big like 20-pound bags of refried beans from Walmart, like I guess delivered or something. And we have tons of them, and we might be running out by now, but we'll cook them in the pressure cooker and then just mash them up. And whenever we buy like the cheap store brand Velveeta, we'll cut it like in thirds and we'll freeze them. That way we don't have, what do you call it? A whole big block, because we just have 3 of us here. And anyway, we usually add, of course, some water, I don't know, skim milk or something to make it thinner and make our own queso with it. They used to have really good ragu double cheddar in a jar that we used to make queso with, but they went to a tiny little container after COVID and charged more for it, and they thought they were going to make a killing, and we just quit buying it. I was like, we'll go back to the Velveeta, boo. And our salsa, that is actually, I didn't actually can it because I don't have time to can right now. We ate all the ones that I can. So I'm pulling out a lot of tomatoes and peppers from my garden that are in the freezer we need to get rid of. I did that a few days ago, got 2 big jars out of it. I'll cook it down for like hours and then blend it with some, onion and garlic and all that stuff. And it tastes like real good old-fashioned salsa from a restaurant. Now, I don't know about this Arcamex. This Arcamex stuff is awful. You go to Mexican restaurants out here, and it tastes like, I don't know, ragu or some kind of spaghetti sauce or something. But, when we lived in West Texas where they had real salsa, it's like that. It's blended, it's hot. And then we have these chips. So it is a Tuesday. So we're having like instead of Taco Tuesday, a Nacho Tuesday. And all I had to eat today, because I've been busy, I had leftovers from last night as a brunch. And of course I had a piece of king cake. I got the baby today. Woo! I got the baby. Anyway, so obviously we're still doing really good and spreading stuff out. Now I'm probably going to put a big, big bed of lettuce on top of my nachos the way I like them. I'm so glad that we have some lettuce for now, as expensive as it is. Man, I wish I could grow some in the garden right now, but I cannot. Every little freeze kills them off, and I just don't have a good setup for that right now. Anywho. Okay, so here's a game plan for tonight. It's already so late. It's like after 8. I've got deer meat in the freezer. It's probably the last, officially I think this time, the last bit of deer meat that I had in the freezer. And sorry, did I say I put it in the freezer? Duh, God, a long day. I have it in the pressure cooker, and I found out how to make really good, like deer roast tasting, like shredded meat from, when I canned deer meat a couple years ago. And you have to can it like at high pressure for like 90 minutes in like a quart or a pint, one of these sizes. And it tasted like roast beef. It didn't even taste like deer. It didn't even have, you honestly, God wouldn't know that it was venison, So we used to make street tacos with that. And ever since then, growing up, with Southern parents, my mom always like fried deer meat, like little tenders of fried deer meat. Or we had someone make like deer sausage, a processor. And I just am not big on frying. It's messy. I can do it. I'm pretty dang good at it. It's just that it's messy, wastes a lot of oil, and I only fry food maybe 2 or 3 times a year. So I prefer to actually put it in the pressure cooker, and I actually do like way overcook it, just like as if you're pressure canning it at that 90 minutes or somewhere in there, so that it falls apart and it tastes like roast beef. And we're gonna eat that. I'm gonna make some rice. We buy the big 20-pound bags from Walmart, or sometimes I order those big sacks of organic rice from Azure, so it has less pesticide in it. We can't always do that, but sometimes they have really good prices for bulk food that is comparable to regular conventional food at Walmart. And then we have the pickled pumpkin. Guys, if you've not ever had pickled pumpkin, this stuff is amazing. It's not what you think. It's not like pickle tasting. They call it pickled pumpkin. It's in that old ball canning recipe, and it's actually sweet. It uses like spices, like imagine the kind of food people ate back in the what would you call it? The primitive American era. Like, if you see primitive American decor, it's kind of like the Revolutionary era and that sort of thing. They used a lot more of the sweet spices that modern Americans don't use, like nutmeg and allspice and cinnamon and all of these things, right? And if you look at a lot of like Eastern European dishes and different stuff, they have like cinnamon or nutmeg or different spices in with their savory dishes. We don't do that much in this country anymore, but I find it really good. And so I'm going to actually cook that with the rice and a little bit of beef broth that we have. And yes, I know I just made refried beans from scratch, but I happen to have this can of beans and I'm just going to rinse them. It's easy. I'll toss that in there. I'm going to saute this onion first before I start the rice so that it has even more flavor. I know it sounds weird to have the sweet with the beans and the, onion, but if you were ever raised in like an area where you do rice and beans at everything to save money, you kind of get it. And it is going to be a savory sweet dish, and the onion's also caramelized sweet, So it'll be kind of sweet and salty, and beans always add protein and fiber. And then we have the deer meat, which is very, very lean, almost completely fat-free. And mixing all that together, we have our protein. We have not a lot of vegetables. I hate it when we don't have a lot of veggies when we're doing pantry challenges. I try to find ways to do it, but we're going to have pumpkin and onion. And I still have some salad on the side. So I may eat, our salad is still good. I may eat a bed of lettuce with it to get some more veggies in. I do have a spaghetti squash, a lot of pumpkin. I have some more stuff in the freezer. I can do tomatoes and okra at some point. But anyway, that's the game plan for tonight. It's Thursday. Yesterday we had leftovers. I actually was so busy. I did end up driving out of town to go to my pain management doctor, and I did not buy any groceries, So I just, I almost was going to get some clearance food on the way out just as a lunch for me. But it was like the only stuff they have at Walmart. There's little tiny little tortilla wraps, where they put turkey and pepperoni. It was like $4 for $3 on clearance. And it was rotten. Like the meat was brown. Like the turkey had turned like this gray color. I was like, oh my God, they're selling rotten food, and their clearance prices is what used to be normal prices. Like used to before like the inflation, it would be like maybe $2.97 for those 4 bites, not on clearance. I'm like, I'm not going to pay $3 for 4 bites of rotten food that's going to make me sick. So I ended up buying for the same price, $3. I bought just a dozen cheese sticks in a bag, and I just brought the rest home, and I let the kids have some. So anyway, yesterday evening, I just had leftover nachos and spread all that stuff out. A lot of times for breakfast, I ordered a big case of the the sprouted English muffins from Azure Standard. And I usually just have some farm eggs on English muffin for breakfast if I eat breakfast. So that's what I had this morning too. Okay, so here's the final product. Here's the rice with the caramelized onions, the beef broth, and I put some of the deer meat juice on there from the deer meat that we cooked in the pressure cooker. And here's like the deer steak, and it just like falls apart. It's really good. And then I wanted some extra veggies. I put the fat-free zesty Italian on it because I don't like the processed Italian dressing anyway. They always put vegetable oil in it. It's gross. if you have that time to make your own genuine Italian dressing with olive oil, really good nutty olive oil, I'll have that. But if I can't have it with real olive oil, I just rather the fat-free stuff. And then some very ancient feta we got on clearance. Technically expired like at the beginning of December, but waste not, want not. Okay, I was gonna go over what we're gonna make for dinner tonight. This looks kind of sad, but I promise it's gonna look good when we're done. Yesterday we actually made like a French toast casserole with some leftover bread buns that we had, some eggs, some frozen fruit we had. You know, the mango, strawberry, blueberry mix? We had a big bag of that from Kroger, a little bit left over. Mostly blueberries left at the bottom. People have no idea how good cooked mango is. Like they only want it for like smoothies. If you've ever put that in oats or anything, it is so good. Oh, it's so good. And I did put some cranberries and um, chia seed for omega 3s and a little bit of pecans and stuff in that French toast casserole thing. The kids are begging for more. We also put some of that clearance vanilla yogurt on top with a little bit of pancake syrup. I use sugar free for flavor. It was amazing. And so that was Monday yesterday, and it's Tuesday. So I've been doing this for over a week. Of course, well, technically been doing it since December, I guess, right? But anyway, tonight is not going to look like the healthiest of meals, but we're using up what we got. So, and I know I've been listening to this Pain Summit thing, and since I'm a spoonie and I have fibro and stuff, you're not supposed to be eating wheat. You're just not. And I'm like, I can't afford to eat this grain-free keto. I felt my healthiest when I actually could afford to do keto before COVID hit. It's just not affordable anymore. And I always would prefer to almost do more vegetarian anyway and not have as much meat. But with my fibro, I actually felt better with keto. I know some people feel better on whole foods plant-based. I never do because of just the pain of fibro. We just react to grains and stuff. But I don't have much of an option. And the sad thing is that it slows down my productivity level so that I cannot work as hard when I'm in pain, but I also can't afford to buy the perfect diet. So, because see, this is like a massive pack of sandwich rolls. It's 12, and we got it for $1.25. I was putting stuff in a Walmart cart to see how much it would cost if we spent 25 there this week and then 25 at the little grocery store we have. And it would cost $25 just to get 3 pounds of the fattiest beef, an extra large jar of peanut butter, 1 box of Splenda store brand packets, and 1 pound of frozen fruit, which does not go far. That $25 for just that. And I'm like, this is insane. And usually Walmart punishes like the smaller rural areas the most, which the whole purpose of Walmart was created for rural areas. And we usually have to take all the hits so that the people in the big cities get the better prices at Walmart, and they get the delivery and everything now along with the pickup and the shipping, and we don't. And it's all the higher prices is because they're changing it's not just inflation. It's because they invested in all the machines for self-checkout because they want to focus on the pickup and delivery, but they're catering to the bigger cities over those of us in rural areas that have food deserts because they know we're desperate and they know we don't have many options or competition here. And because of it, whatever costs a lot where people live in bigger cities, it's even more for us. And so anyway, we're stuck with what we got. This is some leftover hot dog buns we also got on clearance for $1.35. This was probably in the freezer for a while before I even took it out of the fridge. This I just took out of the freezer. I bought this when we were actually trying to have a, stock of backup food. And we're actually eating all of our backup food at this point. So we're going to chop this up really tiny because the texture is unbelievably weird. And then chop up some onion. And we don't buy out of cheese besides the sliced cheese. So I'm actually going to mix some of this in there and see how it works. Soaking up with the bread and the eggs to give it kind of like a ham, cheese, breakfast bake type of flavor. Breakfast dinners are the way to go when you want to save money. They just are, pancakes or oats, grits and eggs, all that stuff. And our eggs, of course, thank God we have tons of eggs from our chickens. We're getting low with our eggs, but low is like having 6 to 10 dozen, like instead of like 12 to 20 dozen. So, thank God I have chickens. um, Let me think, because eggs are unreal at the store now. I think this all, I thought we were going to make grits with this, but I'm like, oh, this is going to be so filling that if we make the whole casserole thing with it, we will probably not need grits. And then I already have some meal plans for the rest of the week. I think we have that 5 pounds of beef that we got. We haven't touched yet. I think I'm going to split it in thirds. So it's like a lot of meat and protein. And it might give us leftovers for lunches. And I'm going to do spaghetti one night. We still have noodles we got from Aldi. And I'm going to do, I think, a meatloaf one night. And what I call a poor man's pantry dinner, which you'll have to find out what that is. Or chili, homemade chili with the last third. And so I have several days planned, and we haven't really, needed to go to the store yet, thank God. But we'll probably spend another $50 at some point this week. I think that's it for now. It is done. It looks and smells so good. I kind of like butchered a little bit, trying to taste it in the middle, and then I forgot, oh wait, I have not taken a picture, recorded a video of it. And yes, did you see the tiny little bit of like sliced cheese I put on top just for extra cheese? I know. But it smells so good. I did put a lot of herbs in there that are healthy and anti-inflammatory to counteract the naughty bread. Not like it's gonna do that much, but whatever. It smells so good. It looks amazing. I mean, I know it looks cheap, but it still is gonna taste great. Yay! Cheap dinner. Okay, so tonight I I would say I did half of it. My daughter did a lot of it, or she probably did more than I did, I think. I just made tomatoes because I was busy working on videos in my studio. But I did cook our own home garden tomatoes again down in the pot really, really slow. And for a long time I blended them. And what I love about it when you do that is the frozen tomatoes or fresh tomatoes have a really tart flavor you just don't get from canned tomatoes. And that 5 pounds of meat, we are dividing it up for, I think one night we're going to have meatloaf, one night we're going to have another meal with it. And then tonight we have the spaghetti. And this is like some linguine from Italy we got from Aldi for cheap. And then we had these rolls that have been in the freezer for a while that we got for, really cheap on sale for like $1 or something. I don't know. So this is tonight, and it's actually, hearty and big. So we got a lot of meat and protein and veggies, and I see you smiling over there, River. I can't say anything in videos because he wants to make everything "that's what she said" joke.
No.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to do another food haul for, the next week. Let's see. We didn't get like any veggies again because this grocery store does not have good prices on veggies, and most of the time they're freezer burnt and like white in color when they should be green and stuff. So I don't get the veggies there. And I know there were some fresh veggies that were supposed to be on sale and I did not see them. I should have looked harder because I forgot what they were and went in because I didn't see it. So that sucks. I'm so desperate for veggies, but we do still have veggies in the freezer. We have okra and tomatoes and stuff. I know we need to get into those because, a lot of what we're eating is not necessarily even what I'm buying in the little mini food hauls. And this one ended up being over $50. It was actually $65 with taxes because we all splurged and got an energy drink, which is ridiculous for $2.50 each. It's just ridiculous that we spent almost $10 on that for all three of us. And it was very naughty. And then I splurged and got some naughty stuff here because, we're eating mostly just pantry and freezer foods right now. And these were two for $5, $2.50 each. And sometimes, if you have teenagers and you don't ever get anything like naughty, like they might go cannibalistic on you and like eat you. So, or like burn the house down or something. So I feel like I have to get them a little treat so they don't actually like start to mutiny. And and then I got them each Red Baron pizza. Those are those are like $4.99 a piece, right? Or $3.99?
Yeah,
$3.99. Yeah, $4 a piece, which is still not cheap to me. I mean, you could buy like potatoes for that, feed way more, but the kids love their stinking frozen pizza, which tastes like dry cracker to me. So anyway, these were only $2.99 on clearance, these potatoes, and they still feel really firm. So we're good there. And then the bananas, they're so expensive, 89 cents a pound, but we get the clearance ones for 49 cents a pound that are turning so that River can freeze his bananas for his protein shakes. Because we got what, protein powder for like $2, $4
Yeah, it was
at
$4,
Walgreens.
and they're usually
It's
27.
we need to go. We didn't go in there today. We probably should have, but I just didn't even think about it. If we go to the very back of our Walgreens, they have insane clearances on like Slim Fast shakes or protein shakes.
And the 89 cent a pound bananas were on sale.
That was expensive, $27 pure protein container he got for $4, and so he likes his protein shakes. And we got this beef. It was, let's see, yeah, it was $9.12, $2.69 a pound. It's gonna have a lot of fat in it, so we have to drain it out. Then we got one of the nice, really lean grass-fed beefs, which is so easy to eat and is so much lower in calories. It was $4.99 a pound. And we got them clearance yogurt, $1, so 25 cents each. And then Gabby got these, 35 cents for her yogurts. And then my son got 2 protein yogurts, and those are 75 cents each. We got bagels. We still have cream cheese from the last time I bought a haul. I don't think we even touched the cream cheese yet, maybe. I don't think, maybe, barely, if that. And these were $1, which is not bad, because those are so filling. And of course, we got our naughty chips. And oh yeah, my kids also, like, they will refuse to do their chores in school if they don't have caffeine or sustenance. So we ended up getting them these only because they were on sale. They're usually like $4 each, but they were like 2 for $5, so $2.50 each. That was good.
I haven't had caffeine in a millennia.
Sure, River. And then let's see, we got the milk. This is $4, and they had no clearance milk this time. Boo! Because we went through the skim milk fast this time, just like in baking and shakes and things.
Yeah.
And then the cheese, $2.07. So all of this, it looks like a lot of food, which is nice. Really filling. But it's still hard to believe that all of this was like, probably like $57 if you don't include our energy drinks, somewhere in that range. And then next week, I think we're going to go to the Walmart to get, what do you call it? Vegetables and peanut butter. Yeah, that's at a decent price. And then the next week, I think that's when we're going to Hot Springs, and we'll go to the Kroger there.
Yeah. Oh, we also mentioned frozen fruit.
And then,
Something else.
yes, frozen fruit. But it depends on how much money. Because, if I get the 4 things we want at Walmart, like 3 pounds of meat, 1 extra large thing of peanut butter, only 1 tiny pound of fruit, which doesn't go far. And the Splenda store brand would have been the $25. But if we're spending the full $50 there, we can get more stuff. So I guess that's it for now. I don't usually show my breakfast or anything because it's just, not that impressive. And like I said, most of the time I'd have the English muffins or something with eggs. I am out of the sprouted English muffins and trying not to eat so much gluten and wheat since everyone keeps saying it's bad for you, and I'm already in a lot of pain. By the time I even got my breakfast done, it's like noon. I just take forever to have the energy to even make breakfast. I've been up for hours, but I just take care of the chickens and all the other stuff, and then finally made something to eat. This is grits, and I didn't put any fat or anything in it because I'm kind of counting my eggs as fat. I cooked a little bit of olive oil and onion on the skillet, and then I added some parsley because parsley is supposed to be good for you. And what else? I whipped in a little bit of Greek yogurt that we had on clearance that we bought with the eggs, and I might actually end up eating it with it or in it or something. And that's like my fat and protein there. So this is honestly, if people are sitting here wondering how to afford breakfast, this is some of the cheapest breakfast you can get. Now, eggs, not anymore for people, unless they had their own, what would you call it, chickens or something, or a more affordable source of eggs. But grits, okay, we get our grits organic. Okay, I know y'all might think, oh, grits are unhealthy, glyphosate sprayed and all that stuff. No. We get organic grits from Azure in big, like 25-pound bags, or I think lately I'm just buying small, like 10-pound bags or something. But the prices are pretty good for organic grits, and you get a large amount, and they last a long time because 1/4 cup of grits makes a serving. It absorbs a lot more water than oats do. And I know people automatically think corn is bad for you, but Native Americans ate basically grits. The East Coast, like in the Florida Georgia area, they actually have proof that they were eating grits, grind up corn cooked in water for thousands of years, and or at least hundreds and hundreds or something, and they are way healthier than us Europeans. I'm sorry, but they were. So anyway, so this is affordable. Like even the organic stuff, if I calculate how much a serving you get, even if you go to the store and get the conventional grits, a serving of grits on average is like 15 cents, maybe 25 cent. 25-cent breakfast. Come on, guys. Like people will eat a toaster strudel or a Pop-Tart or cereal and think that that's a cheap breakfast, which those can be as little as, 70 something cents a piece or something, but it's still more expensive than a serving of grits. And the same thing, if you were to buy a big thing of whole oats, you're eating a breakfast for under $1. If you were to add a banana to it, it would still be under $1, So I know that I like showing this because some people really don't think about how to eat affordably. If you really wanted to, you could have a breakfast and a lunch that are under $1 a piece. And you can find forms of protein and stuff that can go with it that are cheaper. You just have to play the game, like say you get some peanut butter or something for a protein. Sometimes when we're really hungry, we just eat a spoon. We're out of peanut butter right now. I do have peanut butter powder, but just eat a spoon of peanut butter and it like levels out someone taught me that because I have hypoglycemia. And if you're really shaky and your blood sugar's low, just eat a spoon of peanut butter. And it keeps you going for hours and like you don't have that crash, And then, and it's really calorie dense when you eat whole peanut butter and not just the peanut butter powder. Because if you eat a big spoon, that's like the whole serving, which is technically 2 tablespoons, that's almost 200 calories. I mean, it's as much as like a lot of these protein bars out there and stuff. And it may not have as much protein, but it has some protein and fiber and fat. So it keeps you going. And then what else? A lot of times you can make lunches that are about $1 or under. I would say the most expensive meal is dinner. Dinner is probably gonna be hard to get it under $1 meal. If I do the poor man's dinner tonight, you'll see it can be under $1 a person. Usually it's a little over, depending on the serving size, to be honest. It can be under. And then if you make breakfast dinners, like if you're not big on eating breakfast at all, if you were to actually make breakfast dinners, like pancake mix even, that's naughty, but you can get a big box of cheap pancake mix and just the generic brand, and it makes tons of pancakes. And look for like cheap eggs if you can. I know it's just wrong what they did, killing all the birds. And then if you know much about the flu thing, you know that they killed a lot more than they really needed to. The flu actually doesn't kill as many birds. It was just ridiculous. It seemed like it was a scam to be able to increase the prices of eggs, because that's what people were eating for protein, because animal meat was getting too expensive. So that they switched to eggs, and they're like, oh well, let's knock that out too and raise the price on that. And if you eat grits, oats, and breakfast dinners and stuff with eggs or whatever affordable stuff you can find, you can eat easily, I would say, $3 a person a day or under. And it's sad because, I don't know just a few years ago, you could probably easily eat for $2 a person a day. So, but a lot of people are eating more than $3 per meal. And a lot of people are eating about, $3 to $6 per each meal, breakfast and lunch. And then they're eating anywhere from like $6 to $15 for their dinner. And then they wonder where their budget went, Okay, I'm going to show you guys what my, I call it Angel's Poor Man Pantry Meal because it's my recipe. I know there's like poor man's whatever, like on the Depression era cooking and stuff. But this is something I created with what I had on hand. And it may sound weird, but it turned out amazing. And people just ate it up. So what it is it's a third pack of 5 pounds of beef. Also, I have down how much it is. I would love to do this more often with you guys. The main reason why I can't do it right now is because since everything has been on the pantry shelf for, months to a year, some a couple of years, the prices have drastically increased. I did this last summer, so some of these prices have probably increased. Some are about the same, because look at that. The cream of potato is 83 cents. kidney bean 79 cents, can of tomatoes 79. That's about the same here. You might even got to get it cheaper on sale. And then see clearance milk. If you actually calculate how much milk you get, sometimes like if how many cups, that it legit can be 10 cents. If you find like a gallon of milk for $1 or something. If not, I don't think you have to. We're not using milk this time. I don't know what I'll use. I have that Greek yogurt I could dilute down, or a little bit of that cottage cheese left. I could use evap milk or some powdered milk, but I may not use anything, or broth or whatever you have, because you can always like mix this up. But you use kidney beans, cream of potato. That's just what the milk's for, to dilute that down if you wanted, and the diced tomatoes and some onion, however much onion you want, and then the beef. And this is like what, what do you call it? 1/3 of 5 is like 1.67 pounds of beef looks like when it's cooked, right around this much. It's not as much as you would think, especially when it's fatty, because you have to pull out all the fat, and there's still some fat in there, as you can see. So we will cook all this up. It makes a lot more than you would think too by the time we're done with it. And I have some herbs I use. Let me see: rosemary, bay leaf, sea salt, soy sauce, or Worcestershire if you have it. I know that's not how you say it. It was how I've been raised with it, so it is what it is. Some cumin. Let's see. And right there it said the beef was $3.32 for 1.67. It might be actually have been more, maybe. Yeah, because I think we paid like $2.97 a pound, so it definitely is more. We got, because it was probably $15 for that 5 pounds. And this is when it was about $10. Sometimes Kroger will have the cheap beef for like $10 for 5 pounds. Okay, and I'm saying on right here, just like, top it on top of rice, or, potato, like a baked potato or chopped potato, sweet potatoes, biscuits, cornbread, or toast. You can even just eat it with toast if that's all you have. I actually think I'm going to let the kiddos eat it on pasta, because I let my daughter make 2 big packs of that Italian linguine stuff we got from Aldi for a good price. And we still have a big thing of it left. So it'll actually go on noodles this time. Anyway, once it's done and you see what it looks like, you'll get it. Because I know it sounds weird having like potatoes with tomatoes and all this stuff. But people eat that in a stew, and the beans just, the main reason why I like to put beans in meat dishes is if you have a lot of hungry people to feed, or you want this to go several meals, it just bulks up the meat, because meat is so expensive. And so it's got the fiber and protein, and it just like, enhances your fullness level and, saves you money. So see, this is what it looks like as I'm cooking it, and it looks a little bit more normal, doesn't it? Now that you're stirring it up, than like when you see the ingredients separate. I've got so many herbs added to it. I added the base ones I wrote down. I also added some parsley, garlic, paprika, little cayenne. I know, I've said this before, but like I was raised in Cajun country when I was little, and my family never stopped cooking with a lot of Cajun stuff. So I have like 3 like spice cabinets. So like, and we still have tons more on like a shelf. So we use a lot of different herbs, spices, and I think you put a little bit of ginger, filet, and a couple other things just to thicken it up, give it a little flavor, which other people may not like. And I didn't add, sometimes I like to add stuff where you can't tell it's even in there, just a little bit, like the ginger, filet. What else was it? I don't know what it was, something else. So that like you can't even know. Oh, coriander, ground coriander. Such a small amount, you probably won't recognize it in there. I don't like one seasoning or herb being so much that you can tell it's in there, unless it's one you really, really like. It's just going to blend together and have an overall depth. You know how like Indian cuisine, some people don't like Indian cuisine because, at least this is what I've been told, some people say that it's not salty enough for them. It really depends on, who cooks it, right? But the depth of flavor, I guess how Cajun cooking is. Cajun cooking has so many spices and herbs that the depth of flavor is so much to it that you you have no idea what all the components are that go into it, you know. But see how it looks? You're going to have like chunks of potatoes in there. That cream of potato soup makes it creamier. And I didn't add anything but water with this time. And we have the onions in there, the beans, the tomatoes. So it looks kind of like a stew. You know what I mean? Thick and yummy. And we're going to put that on noodles. And we still have some rolls left over that the kids are going to eat with that. So, okay, doesn't this look good? I mean, it smells amazing. It is hot. It's like got all the noodles in there. And of course I simmered the dinner. I'm gonna have to move it away. I simmered it for about 20-25 minutes. Just to get all the herbs and spices all, you know, melded together. I will tell you guys a naughty trick that I have done since the kids were little, which really, really, really help. Like if you have a picky eater who doesn't like, you know, a lot of meat or a lot of this or a lot of veggies or onions or peppers and or whatever, and so you don't give them as much sauce. I have done this for years because oftentimes I will have someone in my house who will, babe, you probably need to move. They can't see you. They probably need to move. You need to move your cup because it's gonna fall. It's on the edge of that table.
This doesn't look very clean.
Yeah, I know because you never rinsed it out.
I did. I mean,
I'm busy.
yeah, I mean, oh, I guess.
Anyway, I've always had someone in my family like forget and leave the lid off of the pasta. Then it dries and get all stuck together and is like glue, and then it sucks, right? So what I do is usually right after I make it, I toss it with a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of parsley or whatever herbs that you like oregano or basil, and some garlic powder, some dried minced onion. You know, it's kind of what they have in the like everything bagel stuff, the minced onion and everything. And but I usually just use parsley and garlic and salt, and that's it. That's because the green just looks beautiful. It just looks pretty. So parsley, garlic, salt, and garlic and salt separate. So I don't like the pre-mixed garlic salt because it's with the, you know, that chemical salt, not sea salt. And then I toss it with the olive oil, and not a lot of olive oil, just a little. For a big pot, maybe a teaspoon to a tablespoon, and it just prevents the noodles from sticking if someone forgets to leave the pot off, or if you have a kid who's really picky and doesn't like a lot of sauce. My daughter was that way when she was little. They will practically eat the noodles with nothing on them just because it tastes so good when you do that. And so I've always done that. I know there's probably some Italian out there who's going to kill me now. I'm like, I'm sorry, you know, we ate noodles in Cajun country. You wouldn't believe how many pasta dishes we have in Cajun country. There's actually probably a lot more Italian influence than people realize. I think, right? Like we've known some people when we lived in New Orleans. Last name was Fertitta, and you would think that they're Cajun, but they're Italian, and they, you know, made their own sausage, and they always cook pasta, and lots of Italian influence. New Orleans and Cajun country really is like a mosh pit of so many cultures. It's not just French and, you know, they'll say like African American and Native American. It really is like Italian too, all kinds of cultures. So anyway, that is my little naughty trick. And I think that's it. I know there's something else I was going to... Oh, I'm going to put some of my homemade salsa on top for some extra heat because I just need to eat up my salsa anyway. It's like lots of veggies, so...